European Union. There is also interaction with local. I want to show small information about our university, about our country before coronavirus. When coronavirus come on the earth, everything is changed. All people's life became same. Today we have it's the same enemy, and today all over the world people have fight to against it's the same enemy. When coronavirus is come on the earth, and in Georgia, everything is changed. First case appearing on 26 February. Georgia has canceled flights to China. They start to using all recommendation from journal from all over the world, which was necessary. When coronavirus is come in Georgia, our government start to coronavirus preventing case. This is face mask, this is distance, hand washing, stay home when sick. They start to disinfect streets, sidewalks and bridges, and they start to lock down in our country. All of fly cancel and everything is stopped. What about coronavirus effects? We had healthy problems, learning system problems, and economical crisis. That's why all over the world, people at this moment, people have same problems, and they try to resolve this problem together. This webinar is very good for to exchange our experience. That's why I'm trying to tell you about our experience. First time our government starts prevention of coronavirus spread in Georgia. This is anti-crisis economic plan. This is tourism renewal, anti-crisis plan of agriculture, of economy, of healthcare, on development sector, and education. In our country starts working stopco.g website and world matters. You can see more of information and many details here. And what about distance learning? Do the results achieved by the introducing of distance learning this academic year will not be enrolled? Tell us our government. And when first confirmed case of a new coronavirus come in Georgia, this is 26 February, everything is stopped. We start learning process suspended at education institutions from for March. 15 March starts beginning of online learning from 1 April, and for junior and for children, our government starts to TV school launch it, our TV channel from 20th March. So, the Georgian online platform plan. That is one of the alternative means of communications, works perfectly of any smartphones. High-speed broadband connection is not required when using the platform. Enough to share segments, upload, download various documents, and conduct group lesson. What about higher education distance learning? All Georgian universities rectors joined and they decided to start a learning system. Universities rectors have been advised to shift of universities personnel to a remote work schedule and plan for the spring semester. National Center for Quality Development in Education has developed an auxiliary document for quality assurance of learning for universities. Higher education institutions have been recommended to be guided by the principles of internal quality assurance of learning developed by the Association of European Agency for Quality Assurance in Higher Education. A list of distance learning apps and online platform was shared with universities such as Zoom, Microsoft Teams, as well as the electronic systems Moodle and Google Classroom. So when we change our traditional teaching styles, so we start to online learning and online teaching process. Tel Aviv State University start to using Google Classroom program. First time our IT guys working was very hardly because they start to make presentation video. They start to join together. They make events where we can join our IT guys and asking everything, which problems we have, how we want to resolve, and etc. etc. Google Classroom program, it's very flexible. There is 10 reasons why Google Classroom program is very flexible and it's very easily to learning system. At this moment, a new training program is currently being introduced. This is module program. I want to tell you small details about Google Classroom program. It's very easy. It's help you to communicate more effectively. It's more cost effective and better for the environment. And there is 10 guidelines who you can use if you want to using in your e-learning system, Google Classroom. It's very flexible for me because I'm working at the same time in Golgotha, Georgia, in non-alcoholic products factory. And when I have not time, I can use a learning system. It's very flexible for me, for example. Because for my students, I want to make degustation course, practical course. I'm decided to start new plan. Online training for me includes 1 hour for lecture course and 1 hour for practical course. That's why for practical course I chose online degustation system. I chose one of Georgian wine. Tell me about this, my students. We both at the same time same wine bottle and start degustation. It's very good practice for me and it's very good practice for my students. So in Tel Aviv State University, online training includes 5 days a week. There is 1 lecture hour, 1 survey hour. You can give your students theoretical materials. You can make quizzes, questions in Google Classroom or Zoom or Teams program. You make practical exercise also is me. Intermediate writing you can make, presentation, final exams. When finished springtime and start autumn semester, first time we start hybrid system for practical and laboratory work. But at this moment in Georgia, coronavirus disease number is very hardly, and that's why we stopped hybrid system and we are using full of learning systems. So this is my own small research. This is my students' results. There is maximum point is 5, and my students' average point was 4.4. It's very good, I think, because anytime they send me some of questions, anytime they send me some of details, if they interesting some other subjects. That's why I think a learning system is very flexible at this moment. So what about learning systems conclusion? In order to comply with online teaching at higher education institution, curricula have been modified, teaching methods and evaluation systems have been received. This is Georgia's experience. University have developed appropriate guidelines and video tutorials for students and lecturers alike. Online lectures, seminars are uploaded on appropriate platform and are available to all students. The mechanism of intermediate and final assessment is determined by university based on the recommendation provided by the minister. Final exam will be held after students are back to classroom in the stage 6 or restrict easy per university's decisions based on the recommendation of the specialists in health care. The submission of undergraduate and graduated thesis will be held in accordance to prearranged individual schedules. So, higher education institutions have been given recommendation regarding the tuitor's fee policy concessions. Universities' tuitor's fees are deferred or a flexible individual payment schedule is offered. The ministry fully provides funding for grants, scholarships, and programs for the spring semester of the 2019 2020 academic year. This is results for Georgia's country during distance learning. Ongoing points. I want to tell many details with what happened at this moment in our country and which steps to make our country to dissolve this learning systems problem. As part one of the web school projects, practice teachers are conducting workshops for the internet, which will be uploaded on the portal L.G. Webinars cover all subjects. The translations of Microsoft Teams into the Georgian languages, the integration of electronic journals to Microsoft Teams to document students' attendance and evaluations, introducing the Minecraft Education Edition pilot program to Georgian schools, creating a complex digital assignment bank, which will be published on the portal L.G, providing the access to the approved electronic students' textbooks, developing electronic methodology and its integration into the learning process, providing parental support by the multidisciplinary team, psychologists, 48 specialists, and special teachers, 1,500 special teachers. So distance learning, when finished everything and when finished first time our distance learning, we have recommendation and results from our partners company. This is UNICEF, this is Microsoft. They tell us Georgia's anti-crisis measurement in education are highly valued and cited as one of the best examples across the globe. There is also their speeches. International Organization for Economic Development and Cooperative framework document cites measurement taken by Georgia to overcome challenge posed by coronavirus in education as one of the best examples. The United Nations Children's Fund, UNICEF, praised the measurement taken by the government of Georgia to overcome the challenges in the field of education. In response to the COVID-19 crisis, the minister's efforts to adapt the entry systems has been named as example for other countries during the first virtual education transformation summit organized by Microsoft. Head of the OES Education Directorate described Georgia and Finland as leading countries in terms of successfully implementing the distance learning components. So this is Georgia's experience, but I want to show you small advantage and disadvantage specific traditional and online learning system. All over the world, people and all over the world, children or students have one same question: online education or traditional education, which one is better? Distance learning, classroom, or books? So that is some of details. For example, advantage of traditional education and disadvantage. For example, traditional education, the feeling of sociability and solidarity, ability to work in groups, give a stable and solid plan, but at the same time they have disadvantaged moments, schedule stiffness, higher cost not only of money but also of time, loss of individualism in a large group of students, less and more expensive dedicated material available. But during online teaching, it's is very commodity, customized learning experience. Students can even get a degree without stepping foot on a university campus, access to dedicated material from any place, anytime, time and cost effective. It's very important at this moment. What about disadvantage online study? There is a need for compromise, motivation, and self discipline, a need for technological equipment and a good internet connection, hard to use in some academic files, more stimuli capable of distraction. And there is all over the world at this moment, many teachers, many children, many students have their own opinion. For example, some people group like online teaching, some people like traditional teaching. So online education is an effective and underrated alternative that allows the students to study at their pace. It also offers flexibility to combine studies and personal life, all of this from the community of home. You can even learn while traveling around the world without giving up your education. Besides, it saves you time and money. There is no need to pay for transportation to courses, tend to be more affordable, and geography barriers don't exist. Um, there is some of pictures. I love this prize. Big chance come from the inside. That's why COVID has brought with it an opportunity to reset our vision for the future of learning. And in the end, the choice is in your hands. It is important to think careful about what you need and what you want from your education. Ask yourself what is more important for you and make a decision, because all over the world people have same problem. All people's life is the same still, and today world trying to defeat it coronavirus and change our reality life. That's why life always offer you a second chance. It's called tomorrow, as my give picture tell you. And happy new month and happy new era all over the world. Thank you for your attention. If you have questions,
thank you so much, Dr. T. Kositashvili, for sharing your innovative academic strategies while giving an insight on life and education in Georgia post COVID-19. We wish you all the best in the university's future endeavors. Now the floor is open for discussion, and we'll be taking questions in the chat box or the Q&A space. Ma'am, there is a question in the chat box. I will just read it out. It is a big question, so I'll just. Many educational institutions around the world responded to the challenges posed by the pandemic by conducting classes online. The person, Sarah, she thinks that this digitalization of education is a privilege of more economically developed nations, especially since there are many poorer nations around the world who cannot afford to access technology to pursue online education. So she says that there are a lot of countries that cannot afford online education, as there are students or there are classes, economic classes that are backward, and not all the countries can afford such online education. So everyone has, but she says that everyone has a right to education. So how do you think in this post-COVID era we can ensure that technology is accessible to all and subsequently education is delivered to all in this post-COVID era? This is especially in consideration of poorer nations. That is the question, ma'am. Should I repeat it or should I condense the question once more?
Okay. I think all over the world, because people have the same problem. In my country also, there is high mountain place where is people have not internet, people have not They are personal computers, and there is this problem is very actually at this moment, but our government try to dissolve this problem. I think during pandemic, many people, many countries have same problem. It's very it's very hard for mountain area, but I think government needs to change people's life. They need to go some of PCs, some of school, and at the same time, mobile phone is very actually for many students, for many children. So that's why sometimes it's very flexible to have online and learning, teaching and distance learning, because coronavirus is very dangerous at this moment and people need to stay at home. That's why, for example, for in my country, our government decided to make a TV school, TV show. There you can see without internet some of programs, some of exams, and this problem is resolved.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you. There is another question from Dr. Bimal. He asks, how is traditional teaching better than online education, according to you?
Traditional teaching is better than online. So for me, this is my own opinion. For me, online teaching is very flexible and it's very comfortable because all over the world, when crisis is come, world, we need to change many details. That's why online teaching is very comfortable for me. But traditional teaching, it's very good because books, because our joint teachers and students communication is very pleasure. At this moment, people have not communication each other face to face. This is problem. I think this is not only education problem. This is a total problem all over the world. But what about traditional or online learning? I prefer online learning.
Okay, ma'am. There is a question from Devanarayan. Ma'am, you said lack of individualization is a disadvantage of traditional method of education. So how is it any different in online education? Lack of individualization.
What is the difference?
Yes. How is it different in online education?
Online education give you a chance to, for example, during when you make practical course, for example, degustation in wine, you can share all people at the same time. You can see their movements, their practice. For example, degustation during degustation. But when you have traditional degustation time or the traditional learning system, you have the time to correct which student is knows, which students don't know. That's why I think online teaching is very flexible at this moment when there is coronavirus. Very dangerous.
Okay, ma'am. There is a question from Irene. Do you think it is the responsibility of the institution to provide a good internet connection and electronic devices for those children who cannot afford it?
It's difficult moment, but I think at this moment, parents and governments need to help their children to resolve this problem for students, for children. I think. This is government problem, and we need to all over the world good internet communication. I think hybrid education system is very flexible when coronavirus is finished. Hybrid system you can use for your lecture course. Online teaching and for practical course traditional teaching. Hybrid education system I like. I think this problem is resolved.
Okay, ma'am. There's a question from Dr. Simi. Could you detail your effects? You mentioned towards creating your efforts? Sorry, could you detail your efforts you mentioned towards creating complex digital assignment banks published on your portals? How did you do it? The digital assignment banks, how did you publish it, and what was your efforts in doing this?
This is how this segment bank publish it. This is from our government portal, stop.co.g. Every information that is in our government's website, and we can use this.
Okay. Okay. There is a message from Nino. I'll just read it out for everyone. Georgian government gives computers to every public school students on the very first day of school. It helps them very much, especially the families which have many children. So, ma'am, do you have any comment on it?
Yes,
About
yes.
This is what the Georgian government does for every public school student. So I feel that is a very great step taken by the government, and it is very helpful, especially in this time where devices and internet is very important for education these days. Yes, thank you. Yes, ma'am, there are a few questions in the Q&A section. I'll just read it out to you. There is a question from Dr. Gibson. You had mentioned that Google Classroom is better for environment. Could you please elaborate on it? Is it because the assignments are submitted in the digital format of Google Classroom?
Google Classroom.
Yes, you said that it is better for the environment. He's asking if you could elaborate on that.
Google Classroom is a virtual classroom. I think there is everything you have using traditional education system. Google Classroom gives you a chance to make quizzes, questions, practical courses to learn your students very faster. I think Google Classroom it's for online learning. Google Classroom it's very flexible. It's very community. That's why I prefer Google Classroom, because in Zoom we have not, for example, many devices.
Okay, ma'am.
That's why Google Classroom to use for teachers, for old teachers, for young teachers, it's very easy.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you. A question from Pooja Ravindran. She has asked, she has stated that it's amazing how the university also incorporates Georgia's cultural aspect into the education system. Has coronavirus had an impact on this, especially as the university also has practicals for the student? Online teaching lays constraints to the practicals as well as cultural aspect in the education system. So how does that affect education online?
It's very effectively we about during our presentation. It's very effectively.
Okay, she wanted to know about how practicals are taken. There is also a question from Maria as well. What efforts are taken by the government for conducting practical skills for students, which are missing right now in the online classes?
For practical courses, we're using hybrid system. Our students, for example, in wine company, can to join winemakers and using government's case, for example, state defense, using face mask and make their practical course.
Okay, ma'am. We have an anonymous question. Do social-oriented approach evoke the educational system? I'm not sure what. what that person meant by that completely, ma'am. Social-oriented approach evokes the educational system. If you could explain what the question
Yes,
is once more, the person who had given the question, could you please explain it a little more? Give it more of an angle.
yes.
We have we have another question from Lionel. Ma'am, do you think online classes diminishes the students' creativity in relation to soft skills, or in the field they wish to work in, or in any aspect of that matter? Do online classes diminish a person's soft skills, like interpersonal skills, communication skills, and things like that? And does that diminish a person's soft skills, online classes?
With online classes, communication is not problem. For example, my students can send me Facebook, Instagram, or any social networks area questions. Communication is not problem when you're using learning systems. You can communicate with your students.
Okay, ma'am. There's another question. What can you say? What can government do for students who do not have? So, what does the Georgian government do for students who do not have access to internet?
Yes. At this moment, our government starts working to resolve this problem, and all countries, all students and children have good internet and PCs.
So, the government, what do they do to help students who do not have internet facilities?
They edit.
There was another question. Is the online learning platform beneficial for the student, according to you, in your university?
Sorry?
In the university that you teach, is online learning beneficial for the students? Have you taken some response from the students' side as well?
They help them by internet chiefly, and our university they have a cabinet for teaching. In our university, they make all prevent case, and we are at this moment we are using hybrid system.
Okay, ma'am. I think I have covered all the questions. Yes, I think we are done with all the questions, Harish sir. Shall we move on to the next segment? Or are there any more questions that anyone would like
no, I
to
think
ask?
it is almost done, that you can appoint it.
All right. Okay. Yes. Thank you, ma'am, for your time and participation. We have shared a feedback form in the chat box. So please kindly fill in your details and confirm your attendance for the day. To express our gratitude, I invite Advocate Anjusi Thomas, Assistant Professor, Jain Deemed to be University, for the vote of thanks.
Thank you, Sharanya. A famous quote says, "Reflect upon your present blessings, of which every man has plenty, not on your past misfortunes, of which every man has some." Today, it is my pleasure and privilege to be on this platform to count the blessings for the day and express our collective gratitude to all of you for today's wonderful session on global strategies for education post COVID-19. Firstly, let me thank Dr. T. Kositashvili, Professor, Tel Aviv State University, Georgia, for accepting our invitation to join this session and deliver the keynote address for the day. Thank you so much, ma'am, for your insightful and enlightening session. We look forward to hosting you again soon. Thank you, ma'am. Words are not enough. to thank our patrons and senior management team, Dr. Chenraj Roychand, Chancellor and Founder Chairman, Jain Group of Institutions, for constantly motivating us and helping us strive through this very difficult time. May I also thank Dr. N. Sundararajan, Vice Chancellor, Jain deemed to be University, and Dr. N.V.H. Krishnan, Registrar, Jain deemed to be University, for their constant guidance and support in their absentia. Dr. J. Lata, our beloved Pro Vice Chancellor, has been a pillar of strength and support for all our endeavors at Jain. Thank you very much, ma'am, for always being there. Dr. Ishwaran Iyer, Dean of Commerce, Director of Industry Interface and Key Projects, Jain deemed to be University. Thank you, sir, for always guiding us and seeing the better picture in every difficult situation, however challenging it is. Thank you, sir. Thanks are due to Dr. K. Madhukumar, Joint Controller of Examinations, Jain deemed to be University, for being by our side always and motivating and guiding us. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Dr. R. Satikumar, Head of Administration, for always being a source of inspiration and support for all our academic and co-curricular ventures at Jain. May I now thank Dr. Harish N. Ramanathan, Professor and Head, Department of Management Studies, for conceptualizing this talk at the very right time and for spearheading the conduct of the entire program. Thank you so much, sir. Let me thank Dr. Jayashree Kunyath, Assistant Professor, Department of Management Studies, Dr. Kannan Balakrishnan, Coordinator of Internal Quality Assurance Cell, Jain deemed to be University. Thank you, my dear colleagues, for so beautifully organizing this program. Without the technical assistance and help from Dr. Bosco Paul, Dr. Felix M. Philip, and Padma Kumar sir, this program would not have been possible at all. Thank you so much, technical team. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Dr. Sri Kumar, for the very warm welcome at the beginning of today's session. Thank you to the dynamic host for the day, Ms. Sharanya Ramohan, for the very good conduct of today's session.
Thank you.
Last and the most, I'd like to thank all of you who are present here today for actively participating, interacting with our guests, and for making this session a very fruitful one. Thank you all again, and have a very good night and a great weekend.
Thank you, Anju.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I once again thank Dr. T. Kositashvili, Professor, Tel Aviv State University, Georgia, for your time and efforts. And I also extend my thanks to each and every one of you who joined us this evening. For those who missed the feedback link, we will be sharing the same to your registered email ID. With this, we come to the end of day 6 of the Global Interaction Series on Global Strategies for Education post-COVID-19. Join us Monday, 7 p.m. for our final interactive session of the 7-day series with Dr. Thomas Verghese, Chair, Finance Program, Northern Alberta, Institute of Technology, Edmonton, Canada. Thank you all once again and have a great evening ahead. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, T.